Hello, guys. Welcome back to SVD. And today we're going to talk about an article written on the Bandai Spirits.co.jp. Obviously, this is a website owned by Bandai, so it's going to be a little bit biased. They're not really going to say anything bad about their company. But anyway, this is a crosstalk between two masters. On the left, we have Tsutomu Noguchi, the guy who's in charge of the Tamashii Nations toy department. Well, he's one of the guys. Basically, these people are not, you know, they're basically the face of these departments. Okay, most of the designers on this department are faceless and nameless. Like, we don't know who they are, but they're just appointing these two guys for the sake of this interview. And I think for the most part, these guys are actually in charge of whatever it is that they're put in charge to do. So anyway, so we got a Tamashii Nation guy, the guy who's in charge of the action figure department, the toy department. And then on the right, we have Naoki Saida. He's in charge of the hobby department, which is, basically he's in charge of all the Gunpla, the PLAMO, and all that stuff. So anyway, there's a very interesting conversation between the two guys. We'll learn about these two. Obviously, Noguchi is a senior guy here. He joined Bandai back in 2004, making him about, almost more than 15 years with the company. He oversees a lot of stuff like, the Robot Spirits version anime, Metal Structure, Kaitai Shoki, and Tamashii Studio Premium products. So yeah, he works on a lot of things. I guess you can say this guy is pretty obsessed with UC, Universal Century. And probably not the best guy. If they ever decide to put this guy in charge of the hobby department, I had a conversation with another viewer, and I was telling him, hey, you know what? If they put someone who's crazy about Universal Century to the Bandai hobby department, it could be disastrous, right? So maybe it's a good move that they got a guy who's fresh, who doesn't know anything about PLAMO or Gunpla, before heading in, becoming the head of the department or in charge of whatever project Bandai authorized him to do. So yeah, in a way, it seems really, really sketchy. You hire a dude that has never built Gunpla, have no experience with even figures, to lead a department, That to me seems very sketchy. If it was also an American company, I think we're heading for a very disastrous result. I think that's what's happening with a lot of American companies, because people are accusing them of out of touch and predatory practices. I can't say 100% that this guy isn't doing some stuff that that's gonna make everybody happy. For example, he did some things right, but he also did some things wrong. For example, a lot of people are not very happy with all the premium Bandai stuff. Basically, it seems like everything is Bandai now when it comes to Gunpla. And I think the reasoning for that is this guy also has a background in marketing, so he has to think about what sells and what doesn't. Sometimes he makes the right call, sometimes he makes the wrong call. But it does seem like, he's willing to work with other people within the department, like, taking people's suggestions. Like, his collaboration with the Tamashii Nation guy, Noguchi, shows that, he wants to make Gunpla more like the Tamashii Nation action figures. Now, this is actually kind of controversial, because there are, people, there's a group of people who always wants to separate the two things. I always get an argument with people. It's like, hey, you know what? If I want a model kit, I go buy a model kit. If I want a figure, I go buy a figure. Reason why I collect model kits is I just enjoy building them. I don't play with them. I don't do anything with them. And the fact that this guy is trying to make Gunpla more like the Tamashii Nation product, it's a stupid idea. Now, I'm not going to argue with that. That's a very good point. But the way I see it, the world's changing. there's a lot of younger folks getting into Gunpla. Uh, I mean, there's nothing we can do to stop it, right? And the market is changing. Basically, a lot of people who are new to Gunpla want to buy the model kits, build it, and then play with it. That's what they want to do. They don't have the money to spend like $50 to $100 on the robot Tamashii figure. The price is going up. It's crazy. It used to be like $30. Now the average figure is like $50 to $80 in a matter of 5 years. When the line was introduced in 2015, the basic figures, the RX-78 was around $35. Same with the Char Zaku. When it was on clearance, it's under $30. But now, all the Bandai stuff that's coming out, the what's that, the Rick Dumb's Y, I think it's $80. I don't know, obviously it's a bigger figure, but they're charging a lot more on these figures because they're considered premium action figures now. So, yeah, it is what it is. So, the fact that he's making Gunpla cheaper, as a cheaper alternative to Tamashii Nation products, I think that's also a good move. And it's not just the the robot Tamashii figure that he's trying to reproduce in Gunpla for. He's also trying to reproduce high-end stuff like the Kaitai Shoki, the metal structured new Gundam. But instead of doing that, he did the Grandpa, the RX-78. Obviously, if you see the look of the RX-78 Perfect Gray, you see a lot of design cues from the Kaitai Shoki metal structure new Gundam. And the reason for that is because he taking a lot of design cues on that, and he I thought he had an interest in the figures before he joined the hobby department, but apparently he actually said in the interview he doesn't know anything about figures and model kits. So basically, in the article here, it says that he's actually currently a fan of the Tamashii Nation products. So you can see here, let's see. It says he's always buying the pre-assembled figures as soon as they come out. So he's actually currently a fan of all the Tamashii Nation products right now. Because he's currently a fan of the action figures, but he's in charge of making the model kits. So basically, obviously, when you're a fan of the action figures, that actually, that kind of, do something about your creative thought process. So, when he actually takes apart the Tamashii Nation products to see how they work, and then trying to incorporate those designs into Gunpla. That's definitely good news for a lot of new fans who are into Gunpla. Now you can actually play with your model kits. They're designed in a way that they will stay together and not completely fall apart on you when you're trying to play with them, which is good. Now you get extra value out of your model kit. But for the die-hard older fans, the elitist modelers, I don't know what to say. You guys have a point. I respect your argument, but they put this guy in charge, and this is what he wanted to do. So I guess you guys can go try something else. There's always third-party companies that's making these crazy advanced resin kits. Unlicensed resin kits. I think that's really what a lot of the more elite modelers are doing. They're just going all third-party, unlicensed customs and stuff like that, which is good, that way. The problem with the Gunpla community, I guess the mecha community, people like to fight about everything and anything. So if you give people any sort of reason, especially in the English community, they'll just go crazy. You look at the kind of insanity that goes on in this community. It makes it really makes me embarrassed. I am actually embarrassed about making Gunpla related content because of all the crazy stuff that's going on. It's just, sometimes I feel crazy doing these type of content. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. Some people say it's like the bold release that they put on the PLAMO. that's making people crazy. You know, it's like it's getting you're inhaling the chemicals into your head, and it's altering your brain structure, or something like that. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of wild theories, but whatever. I don't think they're doing that. I think it's just the mecha community being the mecha community. But yeah. Um, I just like to see, I just like to hear you guys' opinion about this. Do you think this is a good idea? Um, Honestly, I think he's doing a pretty good job. Being like with the company for only like less than like 10 years. We have gotten a lot of cool stuff. We got the HUC Moon Gundam. That was a really nice kit, and we got the best RGs ever. Before he joined the company, we're stuck with like the pre-built frames, which are just ridiculous. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. Um, yeah, the Sinanju, I'm telling you guys, that Sinanju kit is just bad. And even the red frame is not that good. But yeah, ever since he designed the new frames, starting with the unicorn, I think the RG line is just going to get better and better. And unfortunately, there's that Char Zaku incident. And there's a joke in here, because apparently this guy doesn't even know what's a Char Zaku. I mean, it literally says right here. So I guess what he did to the Char Zaku, for UC fans, is kind of inexcusable. If you guys saw my post, I kind of like figured out what he did. Hopefully he doesn't do that with the Gal Google the dog, but they could just do it that way, and and then we can complain about it. But anyway, he is actually responsible for some other stuff that people are very critical about. For example, people are saying like the 30-minute mission. He's actually in charge of the 30-minute mission, PLAMO, the whole entire line. And some people are saying like the line is becoming very predatory. They're just like releasing like random stuff that's like rip off like Kotobukiya frame arms and stuff like that. Yeah, you know what? I kind of see it. And the 30-minute sister, I mean, come on, right? Way to copy the competition. But yeah. It is what it is, man. Like, he seems to be getting a lot of ideas from what's out there, and some of them are good, some of them are not good. I think he's actually responsible for the high-res models too, because he worked on basically every single line of Gunpla. So yeah, I mean, we have some really bad ones, like the high-resolution Barbatos. I mean, that thing is just a mess. And the first wing, yeah, the wing custom, that's a mess too. You're gonna need to super glue a lot of those parts if you don't want a hand grenade. But it only took him a couple tries to get it right. I mean, the God Gundam was great. I think the newer Wing Gundam, the EW version, was pretty good, and the Astray is amazing. So yeah, I mean, you're not gonna get you're not gonna get everything right, but I think for the most part, we're on the right track. But hopefully, the whole P Bandai thing, especially with that master grade F90. I don't know what the point of doing that is. You make the main Gundam a P Bandai kit, and all the expansions are P Bandai. So if you're living in a country that doesn't have a P Bandai web shop, you're just screwed. If you like the F90, well, tough luck. Good luck paying like hundreds for something that people can pay like $40 for. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, and some people saying like it's predatory. You guys are all entitled to your opinion, but I think for the most part, I think this guy is doing a pretty decent job, and I think he's definitely the exception here when it comes to randomly hiring some guy with zero experience with products. I think if an American company do this in 2022, we're just gonna be screwed. It's like, Hasbro hires some guy to be in charge of G.I. Joe, and he's like, oh yeah, I don't like G.I. Joe. Remember when they put Kevin Smith in charge of Masters of the Universe Revelation? He was like, oh, I'm the biggest fan of Masters of the Universe, and then people found his Twitter tweet a couple of years back saying like he doesn't care about Masters of the Universe at all. Well, you get fake fans, you get bullshitters, you get like people who just don't give a shit, who's only there to get a big paycheck. So yeah, I definitely think there's potential for like good stuff. Just hopefully not everything is going to be P Bandai, and hopefully like the supply chain issue isn't like gonna get worse. Otherwise, maybe we'll all quit Gunpla because we can't even get any Gunpla. The funny thing is we can still get Tamashii Nations products. They're rare, they're expensive. They're usually produced in small quantities, but if you want one, you can still get one. It's just like the Gunplas are nowhere to be found because they're either stuck on a boat somewhere, or like Bluefin is doing something ridiculous with their allocation situation. They're probably like doing backdoor deals with Target and the bigger online retailers and saying like, oh yeah, we want to pay more money for more crap. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about this, and thanks for watching, guys.